Hey everyone! Today we're starting a new art project called What's Outside Your Window. Being stuck at home doesn't have to be boring. Take a look outside of your window. What do you see? This art project allows you to practice your observational drawing skills while practicing some art terms that we touched on previously: perspective, depth, foreground, and background. For this project, you will need a piece of paper, a pencil, a black marker, and a black pen, or if you have just a black marker or just a black pen, that works too. And then if you have colors like markers, crayons, or other coloring supplies like colored pencils, you can grab those too. The first step for the project is to choose a window in your house with your favorite view. Now, this isn't the prettiest view in the world, but I chose this window because I really liked the texture on the building outside of my window. I also liked the texture on the roof, and I also really liked how this curtain came in front and kind of frames my window a little bit. So that's why I chose this window to work with. After you choose your window, you will be using a paper and a pencil, and start by drawing out your window. Make sure that you draw big and take up the whole paper. So you see here that my entire paper consists of that window shape. And I also want to make sure that you pay attention to the details of your window and draw them how you see them. Let's take a look at my first window, or the first picture of my window. You can see the details. There's some locks on my window, that curtain that swoops in front of it at the bottom here, as well as these other lines that show the different parts of the window. And I included all of those. I included my locks, that shape of my curtain that comes in front of the window, as well as some of the lines that show the different parts of the window. So after you draw the outline of your window and you make sure that it takes up the whole paper, you're going to be focusing on what's outside of your window. Look outside of your window. What do you see? Maybe you see your neighbor's home, a large tree, or another type of landscape. Using your observational drawing skills, draw what you see or observe outside of your window. You see here that I included all of the bricks, all of that texture on the building outside of my window. I included the air conditioners that I saw, those windows on the building that's outside. So I tried to draw all of these things, and I drew them all very lightly in pencil first before I darkened them up, because if you make a mistake, you want to make sure that you have a light line so that you can erase it. So again, draw it light until you get it right. After you draw everything that you observe outside of your window, you can start to use your imagination a little bit to add things to your landscape. Now, you don't have to do this part, but I thought it might be a fun add-on, and you can see to make my picture a little more interesting, I added a pot of flowers here, and I also added a little bird nest on top of this air conditioner. So again, you can use your imagination if you would like to add something to what you see outside of your window. Remember, your window drawing will be in the foreground, or the part of the drawing that is closest to you, and it will be in front of everything that you draw outside. Remember to use what you learned about perspective to create depth in your artwork. In order to create depth, remember, objects that are farther away from you look smaller, and objects that are closer to you appear larger. So again, my foreground is my window here. This appears larger, right? It's in my foreground. I can almost reach out and touch that window. And things that are in my background here appear smaller. So like the bird nest, the flower pot, these smaller windows that are outside, right? Those are not in my foreground. Those are farther away, so they appear smaller. After you're done drawing everything in pencil and you're satisfied with how it looks, what you'll do next is outline your pencil drawing with a black marker or a black pen to add contrast. You can see in my example that I used my thicker black marker to outline my foreground. So I outlined my window, all of the details of my window, like the locks and these lines, and the curtain. So I outlined these in thicker black marker to make it have more contrast and to make it look like it's really in the foreground. And then for everything outside of my window, I used a thinner black line. So I used a pen for this part to outline everything that's outside of that window. Now, if you have coloring supplies, you can add color to your artwork, or you can leave it black and white. Make sure that you add value to your artwork to add more contrast. Remember, value is the lightness or darkness of a color. So I just paid attention to where there was shading on my outside of my window, and I added some shading, some value to what I saw in order to make it pop out more and have more contrast. When you're all done with your artwork, take a picture and post it for me to see. Just to show you guys again, I have my original window and what I see outside of it. And then I have my drawn version, my illustrated version of that. And I don't know about you guys, but I like my artwork rendition of that window a lot better than the original window. All right, everyone, I can't wait to see your drawings of what's outside of your window. And I hope you have a great week. Have fun.